West Ham United back in Europa League knockout action again after a 12-month absence where, of course, we won the Europa Conference League, but we're back in the big time. Well, the big time-ish, not quite Champions League, but you know what I mean. That historic run to the semi-finals against Eintracht Frankfurt last time out. And we're back again against German opposition in the knockout stages in Freiburg, of course, who we played and beat twice in the group stage of this season's competition. I am delighted that joining us on the We Are West Ham podcast for the very first time is Michael from the Fuchsletalk podcast. Michael, first thing is first, of course, before we talk about the game, how was my pronunciation of your podcast name just then?
That's what I wanted to say in the first way. It was really, really good. I mean, it has an umlaut. It's pretty weird for you guys, but Fuchsletalk, it means the podcast for the small foxes, and the foxes are like a spirit animal. So that's where the name developed from. It sounds a bit strange in Germany because it's not a word you usually use. So, but well done.
Thanks very much. So, big game coming up on Thursday. First of all, I want to get your reaction when the draw was made after your team lost 2-1 at home to West Ham in the group stages and then 2-0 away. How did you sort of, when the draw came out, you're obviously excited, no doubt, after your excellent victory over two legs over Lons, who dropped out the Champions League. When the draw was made and you saw it was West Ham, how did you react?
It was a mix, actually. I think the same for you guys, I guess. So first moment was, not again. Because it didn't work out for us. So maybe you thought, oh, great, we know what to do. But the second thought went straight to our captain, Christian Günther, because he didn't play in Freiburg and in London as well, because he was injured for like the first leg of the season. And he only is back on the squad now. So it's his chance to play in London. And I remember that we were walking to the stadium in London and somebody video called him and in the middle of the fan march, and everybody was cheering him and he had like tears in his eyes. And now he can play in London as well. But he also said in an interview, most of the other guys on the squad were like, oh, come on, not again. But on the other hand, it's a playoff stage, right? So round of 16, you can't say, well, there would have been easier opponents. I think that could have been, for both of us, could have been much worse, some worse teams as well.
Well, that's the thing. How are Freiburg fans viewing it? Because if I'm honest, I think among most West Ham fans, and this isn't to be sort of insulting against Freiburg, but given the size of club West Ham are playing a European football, though it's been common for us the past 2 or 3 seasons. Before that, for decades before that, we were without European football, weren't particularly successful. So there's a bit of a weird, I think when the draw was coming up, I think everyone from a West Ham persuasion wanted like an AC Milan or a Benfica or one of the sort of bigger name teams, which is a strange way of thinking because in most cup competitions, in the domestic cup competitions, you just want the easy teams all the
easy
time
one,
you want to get through. Yeah. So, and when Freiburg came out, everyone I think was really disappointed, namely because part of the excitement of playing in Europe is playing against new teams and having new sets of fans come to your stadium and being able to go away to new countries and new stadiums. Obviously, because West Ham away fans were banned from the first leg.
I just wanted to say it was the first time anyway, but yeah, I know what you mean. So that's actually the thing. I think there's still some tickets left for the match in London this
time.
And like some in terms of a handful, but it was quite easy to get tickets this time. It was a bit harder in December, to be honest, because everybody had the ticket jokers running and everybody wanted to go there. And this time it's like, there's no holidays. It's in the middle of the week. Surprise, surprise. It's a Euroleague match. And there won't be as many supporters, I guess, in the home section as well this time, but you never know. And I see your point. It's usually about getting around, visiting new places you've never seen before. But on the other hand, I mean, if you would have told my 12-year-old me back in the day, you've got to play in London, I would take it. I would take it twice. So that's where we are, and I will do it. And as I said before, it's a chance for a captain as well, and we should support, especially him, for his like full London experience. Well, it depends. The Black Forest is quite nice actually. So if you're coming, It's a nice city. There are worse cities to visit, I would say, than Freiburg in Germany. Actually.
Yeah. Well, it was all very last minute. The last podcast me and James did earlier this week, all the listeners will know I was 50-50 about whether I was going to go. Well, I am going. My tickets, and I've sorted some flights out and hotels. Bit of a obscure journey. I'm flying into Basel and then out of Zurich. All the trains are up the spout, I understand. Just quickly, I know this is probably something you're not normally asked on football podcasts. Just for any West Ham fans listening, what's going on with the trains at the moment? Because there's huge panic in London that there's a big train strike and no one's going to be able to get anywhere.
Yeah, the thing is, Germany is a bit like Italy in the 90s at the moment. I'm not sure about how this developed actually, but there's a lot of strikes at the moment. Yeah, and actually different ones. So it's the trains, then it's the local trains, then it's the flights as well sometimes. So the Lufthansa, for example, they are striking this week, a Thursday and Friday, and I think
a friend of mine, his flight got cancelled.
Yeah, please do it this. Well, from my point of view, do it this way. I'm fine with it, but next week, fingers crossed, everything will be all right. So I guess you're fine because most of your travel is in Switzerland. So Zurich, Basel, everything should be all right. And from Basel to Freiburg, yeah. But if you come to, let's say, Stuttgart,
Frankfurt and Stuttgart,
yeah,
lots
Frankfurt
of
a lot, yeah.
Into.
So. Yeah, Germany's not as small as you think if you watch it on the map, if you see it on the map. But I think you should be fine because there's there's going to be some negotiations, and if they negotiate, there's a break on the strikes. But having said this, it's very strange, and this is really not football related at all, but it's really strange with the unions. That's actually almost French, not Italian, because you have the union for the guys who drive the train, the guys who are the technicians, the guys who serve the coffee and stuff. And if one of the other unions decides, well, that's a good idea, we go on strike as well, the next day, well, you're basically fine. But I think, fingers crossed, you should be fine because there's a new round of negotiations. And as soon as they negotiate, there's talks and they don't do strikes.
Okay. So any West Ham fans who are flying into Stuttgart or Frankfurt, you think hopefully should be okay? I
think they should be okay. If they are in Stuttgart, lucky then because that's not far away. So you could get a car and 4 or 5 guys get a car, go to Freiburg. It's not that far away. Cologne is a bit of a track, but doable, I would say.
Stuttgart and Frankfurt, I think most fans, if they're
Stuttgart's
not
pretty close. Yeah, Stuttgart's pretty close. Frankfurt is a bit too close, but it should be fine. I mean, knock on wood, as I said, negotiations are on the way and everything will be fine, even for the train drivers.
Do you know when the talks are?
I think at the very moment, I think they are doing this now, and the strikes are over. And on the overall German trains, there's still a couple of stuff going on in different cities, but I think Freiburg should be fine. They had a strike on Friday when we played against Bayern Munich, which was a shame because you could only go by bike to the train to the stadium, which is it's not in the middle of the city, so it's quite a bit to walk there or go by bike. So that was a bit chaotic. But I mean, it was Bayern Munich. Everybody was there in the end.
Sure.
So it should be fine.
So you've mentioned there that there's not, it might not be a complete sellout Thursday or a handful of tickets left in the home end. What can West Ham fans who haven't been to Freiburg yet, what can they expect from the city and the stadium and the Freiburg fans? What sort of experience can they expect?
So I think there may be a misunderstanding. Maybe I just talked crap. So the home match will be sold out. Every home match is sold out. It's still a new stadium, still a thrill of the new stadium. And also it's Europa League, so everybody's excited to go there. But the away game, not that many people are to London this time. But the stadium will be full. It's a very loud one. So there's a new stadium. It's smaller than the huge World Cup 2006 stadiums that you maybe know in Germany. It's a bit smaller with about 35,000 attendance at full capacity. It will be at full capacity. And they copied a bit of the Dortmund stadium, but in a smaller size there. So you have a very steep fan stand there, and it's really loud. So a stadium where you go on level and go downwards, so it's built on the ground. So if you come there, you think, oh, this is small, but it's big on the inside. So it's a really nice one. So not much to do in the direct neighborhood. Sorry to say that, but the city's quite nice in Freiburg. So you can do some sightseeing. You could do some, if you like trail. What's it called? You walk in the woods, stuff like that. Hiking.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. It's still pretty cold, but you could do this.
Knowing West Ham away fans as I do,
they won't
I think
do. Yeah.
the most important question they'll be asking is where can we get a beer, not where can we go hiking. Yeah. Where what is there any recommended specified away pubs in the city?
No, just any pub actually. It's a nice old German city with a market. It's a market square like city centre, and there's lots of stuff to do there. The environment of the stadium itself has still to be developed in a way because it's still new, and well, there's basically only one side. There's the small airport. On the other side, there's a commercial area, but there's not much going on at that kind of or that point of time of the day. But yeah, you'll see Freiburg is quite nice actually. It's it's in the Black Forest. So if you've never been to Germany, it's like the cliche of Germany. You have without the lederhosen maybe, but everything else is like as you imagine. Like it's very Sound of Music like.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. I'll go get our singing voices ready for sure. Let's talk a little bit about football then. Enough of trade unions and
trends.
Yeah, exactly. So you said when the draw was made then. So how are Freiburg fans viewing this game now? Is it very much that, are you confident you can get through, given that sort of perhaps disappointment like West Ham fans had that you didn't get drawn against one of the bigger names perhaps? What's the feeling from a football standpoint going into the game?
I think it's a mix actually of the two things that you mentioned. The one hand says, well, yeah, Liverpool, or like there's Italian sides and everything. But on the other hand, I think it's like a sort of 50-50 chance because you know each other now. And a lot of injured players that we had in the group matches are coming back now. And maybe there's a chance. I mean, as I said, I think it's 50-50 thing. It just all depends on the first match, I guess, how the second leg of the round will go. But there was not much disappointment in terms of our chances to get through because this round of 16 is special for us as well. We did this twice in a row now, which is surprising for us as well because we are a very small side in Germany actually, with much less financial possibilities than many other teams in the league. We have no energy drink money funding and stuff like that. So this is quite an achievement in itself. And we had the same match last year against Juventus Turin, and it was very close. So I think it's all depending on the first match and how loud the stadium will be. And if there's a good referee, maybe for a chance, at least once in the competition. Because I don't know about you guys, but I think there's the level of the refereeing in the Europa League doesn't quite match the level of players playing there sometimes, and some strange decisions. But if everything's fine and everything's going like a proper football match, as I said, I think there's a 50-50 chance for both of us.
Yeah, I mean the standard of refereeing in the Premier League is so abysmal at the moment that I don't think you do too much worse.
There's no difference.
European refs. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you've mentioned some players who are out injured. Then just sort of give me a flavour of what sort of style and setup formation wise you expect from your team, Freiburg, and also what sort of players should West Ham fans be wary of, and are your biggest threats or your sort of star players in the team.
All the secrets, I'm a bit torn actually. I think there's two things that I could imagine. The one thing will be like a pretty defensive positioning on the field, as a 3-5-2, and two of the five guys in the midfield coming back later in the defense and like waiting what's going to happen and then trying to do some counter strikes. On the other hand, we played a 4-4-2 against Bayern Munich in Freiburg on Friday, and it worked pretty well. So I think that's a possibility as well. The only player that would make a difference then in his two options would be Vincenzo Grifo. because he will definitely start in a 4-4-2, and I think he'll come from the bench in a 3-5-2, or probably more 5-3-2 actually, to be honest. But that's actually the big difference between these two possibilities, and I think one of them will be the starting squad, and maybe they switch it at some point of the match. And actually, Grifo is the guy to watch. This is no secret. He has created a lot of chances, even with passes, and that's
Where does he play?
Everywhere. He plays everywhere. He usually plays on the left side, offensive, and his good moments will be there because Christian Günther, our captain, is back on the pitch, and they know each other for years now, and they don't have to look for each other where everybody is on the pitch because they just know they play together for years now. And this is like the strong side, this the left side actually, on defense and offense as well.
Yeah, excellent. So, yeah, it's an interesting one because if you're talking about setting up defensively, that will suit West Ham and David Moyes down to the ground, really, especially in the away leg. We're coming back to London Stadium afterwards. I think David Moyes and, obviously I'm going out there hoping we win the game, but realistically, we've done it in the Europa League. We lost away in Seville and came back to London Stadium and won the game. From there, we managed to win away at Lyon last time. We were, we're sort of pretty robust away from home. We've had a good record in Europe, home and away. The Olympiacos game in the group stage away, which we lost, was the first defeat we'd had in, sort of 20 odd. Yeah. European games, which is a good record. So I'm expecting David Moyes to go and, play very resolutely, hit you on the counter attack. Will there be pressure from the Freiburg fans to go for the attack and attack and attack, or will you be sort of confident with a fairly low scoring game?
I think the audience is a bit different to normal German audiences because this sounds strange coming from me actually, because I am one of the supporters, but I think the guys understand, they know what's going on, they know what we came for, so everybody knows we're not high match against the Premier League side because we are just Freiburg in a way.
Yeah.
But so everybody knows it's not going to be a 5-0. So I think the idea is to keep the match open as long as possible and then be there if there's a chance. So we are pretty good from set pieces, actually, all kinds of set pieces, including throw-ins. So expect a bit of throw-in action as well, long ones. And so we actually came back from the throw-in against Bayern Munich on Friday. So that's something that you might see. Yeah. And also don't expect to see like a striker waiting for the ball to come. So our strikers are the first defenders, they say, and they run a lot, so they're everywhere. But sometimes not there where the ball's coming to in the box. So that's the backside of the coin. Yeah. But to conclude this, I mean, we want to win. Actually, everybody wants to win. It's a sporting event after all. But I think everybody knows where we come from. Everybody knows that we have a very small squad this season, and have to be reasonable with our power and our stamina as well. So. It's match after match after match, and if you see it works, it's fine. But if you see it doesn't work and it's a really bad score after all for us, I don't think they will. I won't say they will give up, but I won't say they fight back if they early in the match.
I should have asked you this earlier. 9th in the Bundesliga at the moment. How's it going quickly domestically before I wrap up and get a score prediction off you?
I think we won one of the last 5 or 6 matches. Yay, it's going well. No, the thing is, as I said, we had a lot of injuries in the last couple of weeks, actually, in the defense. And the defense is the most crucial part of the match on the pitch, I think, because these guys have to know each other. They have to know positioning and everything, so that automatic things happen on the pitch. And if you change 3 or 4 positions, well, it is not that easy to win in the Bundesliga because almost every team is on the same level, except for some upwards and downwards. But we had a bad run, I could say, in the Bundesliga at the moment, but not really poor matches. So yeah. I think we're coming back, and to be honest, from my opinion, the actual ranking at the moment, so being 9 at this point of time with so many injuries, is like actually it's more worth to me than the qualifying for the EuroLeague in the last season with the full squad.
Yeah.
So that's something, because usually if you play in Europe and have all the traveling and less training times, actually, it went downhill from there for a couple of times for us.
So, Michael, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on the podcast. What is your score prediction for Thursday night? West Ham away at Freiburg in the Europa League last 16, knockout stages, first leg.
First, like to say, it sounds great. If you do, it sounds like a real event if you put it like that. So, I think it's going to be a close match, to be honest. I don't see one of the teams being that much better than the other one at this very point of time, and I think it's going to be close to 1 for us.
Yeah, a close 2-1 to Freiburg. You know what? I'm going to, as I always say when I go to an away game, I hope we score a goal that matters, be it an equaliser or we go 1-0 up. One of those two things. I'd love to see us win, of course, but I'd be quite happy to take a 1-1 back to London Stadium and give ourselves a good chance of progressing. But thanks so much for joining us. Michael there from the Fuchsletalk podcast. That's the second go I've had at pronouncing that, and I think my first one might have been better.
Yeah. It's still good.
There we go. Perhaps I can come and be on your podcast if I give up supporting West Ham. But listen, Michael, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on.
Yeah,
like I say, all of you guys listening, West Ham in the Europa League knockout stages again. This is what it's all been for under David Moyes. It gets me going every single time. It's really, really exciting. I am jetting off to Freiburg on Thursday lunchtime, and I'll be back about 24 hours later, actually, on Friday lunchtime. I can't wait. I'm really, really looking forward to the game. Thanks so much to Michael for coming on. I'm going for a 1-1 draw. Michael's going for a 2-1 to Freiburg. Let us know in the comments or on all of our social media platforms at @WeAre_West Ham on Twitter. We are West Ham Pod on Instagram. You know where me and Jonesy can be found. Do all the usual housekeeping stuff that I remind you to do, but Europa League football's back again. Knockout stages. This is when it gets serious. Happy days. Hopefully this isn't the last European away day we get to go on for a few years. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks to Michael. Up the hammers. West Ham are massive, and we'll speak to you next week.